Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Eye of the Watchers podcast, where we give you all the support and insight you need to get hyped about League of Legends esports. I'm Sam, we got Manny and Austin to my sides. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, how are you guys doing today?
I'm pretty good.
Good. We will be talking about EULCS. We had quarterfinals, which were, they're spicy. And then we'll go into our semifinal predictions. So just first off, the first match we want to talk about is Splyce versus Roccat. Manny, what happened in this series?
Splyce, just like their logo shows, they were snakes, dude, and they just smothered the fuck out of Roccat and made it a quick 3-0 and completely destroyed my prediction and was heartbreaking to see for sure. I think out of both LCSs, I think this was just the clearest, like, dominating team, right? It was like the clear, well, this team is 100% better than their counterpart. And they were quick games. Like, if I'm not wrong, they were like really quick games. It was a 3-0. And it was just like, I think almost always sub 30 minutes. I don't know the exact time, but if it wasn't sub 30, it felt like it. Right. There's almost no hope. And it's kind of sad to see in terms of like Roccat. But, like none of them, I think one of them had playoff experience from before. Right. So it's just like, it's just tough, and it kind of really showed.
Yeah, definitely. And it was like, I knew Splyce was going to win. I knew they were going to win, but I was expecting maybe one more game. Like, just show me something. Give me something out of the ordinary that's going to throw them off their feet. No, it wasn't anything like that. We did see something out of the ordinary, though. Nisqy, who has been playing like crap most of the LCS so far, basically most of the way, and he comes out game 1 12-0-2 on Kassadin. Ridiculous. Game 2 he was playing Orianna 6-0-4, like, just has yet to die. And then Game 3, 4-1-6. Like, he was just dominating in every single game. And I mean, if he can keep playing like that, like, I think they're good contenders going forward throughout the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of shook up my predictions, right? Like, and that's not a pun on the H2K jungler shook.
I was like, wait, what?
You shook me, all right. Yeah. No. But I mean, yeah, like, I think Nisqy was extremely underrated in Team Envy last year. I think he was one of the main reasons that team made playoffs, even though they didn't look good with, Lyra, Apollo, and Hakuo. We talked about them already. You'll see the episode on the NALCS quarterfinals. But Nisqy is one of those guys that he has so much potential, right? He was in Fnatic's academy team like last season, I think. And he's just a good player. And that Kassadin game, oh my god! I think that was the most demoralizing game. A Kassadin, which is a late game like type assassin champion, was an 11-0 at 15 minutes, and it was just like, this game is literally over. Like, he would escape with like 5 health, go back in, got a quadra kill. It's like, what the fuck? What is this guy doing? And it's just, I felt bad for, Roccat, because they were trying plays, but you could tell like just nothing went their way. And I think it was just preparation from Splyce and really showing that they are going to, to play hard, right? They are going to try to challenge that MSI spot, and it's just it was interesting. It was. I mean, again, a shock. I thought it was going to be a close series. Rocket would have something, and even when they try to pull off like a little, funny business, they got demolished.
I will give Rocket credit for something though. They had amazing vision across the map in every game. Just amazing. They constantly had their wards down, but they were so far behind at some points in the game that it didn't matter how much vision you had on the ground. They were coming for you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was just like crazy, I mean, just imagine trying anything and just nothing going your way. It's demoralizing.
Yeah.
For sure.
So because we saw such a decisive win by Splyce, were there glimpses of weakness going into semis that could be taking advantage of? Was there something that you saw that kind of worried you if we were going to be nitpicky with Splyce? Or was Rocket just that bad?
I think like the nitpicky thing is the same thing we just praised Rocket for, is that they had awful vision denial, but they didn't get punished for it, because there's no way you punish again an 11-0-3 mid laner. And I mean, I think this is also credit to Rocket. Like they are gonna improve. They are a good team. This was their first go at playoffs for 4 out of the 5 players. So it's like they made playoffs. They have some fortitude. They beat G2. They've beaten Fnatic. Like they can beat some of the teams. Obviously, a best of one is different, but I think it's a team that you should have faith, especially if you're a fan.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, going into summer split, they're definitely going to be coming back strong. I think they learned from this playoff series, and they're going to come back and be wanting it even more.
Yep. All right, cool. Sure. So let's move on to the second quarterfinals match, H2K versus Vitality. This one was a lot closer. Manny, what happened here? Manny's dying over here if you can't see on the video.
So there was no doubt in my mind this was going to be a close series. It shouldn't have been as close as it was. I think Vitality at some points where it's like, hey, let's flip a coin. We're going to lose this game. We'll see. It was hectic. It was, I think, just all over the place from both teams, right? And mainly from Vitality. Vitality was almost always in the lead, and H2K would make a decisive, I think Vitality started out strong, won first game, and then the second game they had 8,000 gold lead or something like that, and H2K came back, beat them, and it's just classic H2K. H2K all the season has been, we're down 12K, we're right where we want you, and it's like, okay, yeah, of course, I mean, dude, H2K is going to be a terrifying team. They didn't win the series, they lost it 3-2. My prediction was slightly off because Vitality said, hey, let's troll the 4th game of the series and make it hella close. H2K is a terrifying team going into summer. I think, depending on how we see changes, if we see any other changes, I think H2K is a top 3 team. Depending, again, on G2 and stuff, but they're a top 3, top 4 team. And I think Vitality ended up getting lucky in just H2K's inability of actually putting up a fight early, right? It was always we're behind, we know how to play from behind, but it wasn't we'll get ahead early. It didn't really feel like that,
Right. It was back and forth the entire way. And every time H2K, when they went to win a game, they would come back, it'd be a team fight, they'd win. Then from there, just kind of, okay, let's take Baron. Let's take 3 Drakes. Let's take this. Let's take that. And then, okay, we just win the game now. And so, it was just back and forth for most of these games that it was really close. And, I wanted H2K to win. I wanted to be 2-0 on you, but didn't happen.
Nah,
But
the
even
Danish gods looked down on me and said, "We'll give you this one
for that spicy Rocket pick. We'll give you this one.
right. But it was a way closer series than I thought, and I mean, I enjoyed actually getting to see 5 games versus 3.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, look, again, H2K are awful at Baron fights.
Mm-hmm.
They're the worst team out of the remaining 4 in 50-50 Barons. You do not want to make sure that the jungler's nowhere near Gilius, because I mean, I think they even interviewed Yamato Cannon. He's like, "Oh yes, we're known for the missing those fights," and it's just like, yeah, you're not gonna say your jungler's shit at smiting, but that's exactly what Gilius. I think he got like 2 redemption ones, but it was like he did get it, or he stole one, and he stole one, and it was just like it was that close, though, right? It was that close, and they're not facing someone that's gonna leave it that close to them, and again, I wish to see them have more life, but the way they struggle against H2K. The fact that they're going against the powerhouse of Europe right now is a little tentative, if I might say so. And I mean, it's crazy. I mean, again, they have what, 2 rookies? I think it is like 2-3 rookies, and it's like, yeah, it is 2 rookies, and it's like it's tough. It's while you learn, right? I think they have a lot of stuff to do. I mean, they were the number 1 team for almost halfway through, and then Fnatic were like, "Hey, we're better than everyone." Then, things occurred at that point. But it's going to be interesting because I really didn't have almost any faith in Vitality coming in to the year, right? And again, I mean, I did predict them to win, so I I obviously got some faith back. But it's interesting. It's just kind of like hard to see how close those games were in retrospect, because it's like, I feel like at the end of the day, you know who you were going against, so I feel like at that point you're like, we're fighting for a 3rd and 4th spot, right? Watch, I'm gonna jinx Fnatic like in some god awful fashion, but it's just, I mean, it all matters, right? Like positioning all matters because it makes it easier for Summer, and I think Summer is going to be very competitive in EU for sure.
Definitely. And Vitality, I mean, they have the unlucky sense of going up against Fnatic, and I mean, Fnatic is just, they're on another level. That's all. I mean, that's all you can really say is, like, from what you saw and what you see of Fnatic, it's 2 different games.
Yeah. Gotcha. Cool. So I guess moving on, we have semifinals next week. Hopefully it'll be just as spicy, and there is going to be a crazy game between G2 and Splyce. Now that we saw Splyce just manhandle Rocket, and G2 being the defending kings of Europe, how do you guys think this is going to go? Is G2 going to get a chance to defend their title?
I definitely feel they'll have a chance. I'm giving it all 5 games, 3-2, and I know it's going to be close. But just seeing the way that Splyce played in that playoff, like, I have to give it to him because, like, they just looked incredible.
Gotcha. Manny, what do you think?
So I think it's also going to go to distance. It's going to go 3-2. Look, one of these 2 teams is going to come back and say, nah, fuck your prediction. This ain't going 5 games. I want to go bed early. 3-0. But I'm going to give it to G2. And I read this like tweet that said, like, all the storylines in one game. It was pretty much Odo Ame, who is Splyce's top laner, is going to verse Yankos for the first time. And whoever wins is going to be appearing for the first time in a final. Out of those 2 teams, out of those 2 players. It's Perks defending his dynasty. And it was like, it's like Wonder versing off his like old team. I'm pretty sure it's just like everything's intertwined between these two teams. So it's gonna be a close series. I'm not shocked at all if Splyce takes this. I think if G2 are not, if there's any team that knocks out G2 before finals because they wouldn't be able to face Fnatic, it would definitely be Splyce, the way they looked. And it's kind of harsh, but I mean, Jankos has never performed in playoffs. It's just a fact. He has never performed in playoffs, right? I don't know how that team made it to semifinals and worlds, but they fucking did it. But like he has like that debuff that I'm hoping that they fix, but at times he hasn't looked like a strong jungler, which I know like he is. He was known as the first Blood King for almost 3 years, 2 years in Europe, right? And just now being like sometimes like, what the fuck is going on, And I'm still kind of worried about Perks, because if Nisqy is at the level that he showcased and Perks is at the level we last saw him in, that's no longer a win condition for G2, and that's terrifying. If you're a G2 fan. So yeah, I mean, hey, we saw it from TSM, right? I think this could be like the year where you don't see the powerhouses of the last couple of years like really be those powerhouses. I think the new kids are definitely putting up a fight.
Yeah. So going into this week, do you think G2 is at a disadvantage? Do you think they would take advantage of a week off, or do you think it actually hurts them not playing in quarters?
I think it helps them because they got to see they played against Splyce for the tiebreaker for the second seed. They won, and seeing a dominant Splyce, dude, you pick those games apart and they nitpick what they did wrong to exploit that. So I think it's very valuable for them. It could be very bad for someone like Splyce if it gets to their head, right? Of like having the dominant series. So I feel like it benefits G2 quite a bit, in my opinion. Austin, I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, it definitely benefits them, and they were able to, I mean, even without the week off, they were like, with having the week off and without the week off, you can look at games and be able to nitpick and look at all that. But them having the ability to have a week to further try things without it risking playoffs, they can take it into outside scrims and take something and try it that they think will work against what they saw against Splyce. And knowing that a big criticism of those games, not that it hurt them, was just Rocket had tons of vision and they just didn't care to clear the vision. They may be focusing on, okay, they aren't clearing vision as well, or they aren't checking the vision. Can we take an early drag? Can we take an early Baron that they're not expecting? Stuff like that could throw it into their favor. And Splyce is on a high, so they've got momentum on their back. So it kind of goes a little bit in both ways because they're on a high. Nisqy's feeling strong now. He can't let it get to his head, or you could just go back to before. But I mean, if they keep playing the way they are, we're gonna be watching 5 games, and I don't think they're gonna be short 5 games either.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough because we also saw G2 struggle a lot in macro, right? Like a lot of their losses towards the end of the season were, hey, we have a monumental lead. And it's gone. Our nexus exploded. What the fuck just happened, right? And I feel like at the same time, like the buy is helpful because now you have 2 weeks to try to fix that. But I think it's the same issue as C9, where it's like it's still not the same, right? You don't have multiple weeks. You don't have like 5 weeks to like work on macro, which I feel, I mean, again, it might be different, but I think it also helps someone like Perks, who was clearly tilted. Maybe they just focused on him, making sure he was untilted. And dude, I mean, if Perks comes back strong, I think you don't touch G2 in this series.
I'm just hoping they went out, bought Perks, massage, got them all rolled out,
Yeah. They were like, you're gonna carry. He's like, okay.
Like a nice Rocky montage there too somewhere. Yeah. All right, there you go.
Him just clicking his mouse.
click. Then Q, flash. Yep. Great. Type GG. All right. So moving on to our next semifinals matchup is Fnatic, who looked absolutely destructive this season, against Vitality, who squeaked by in a 3-2. I'll just ask the obvious question. Does Vitality have a chance to actually take a game off? Or
to take a game off, yes. To win it, no.
So I'm gonna agree, but also say it is playoffs. I mean, Fnatic last year got first place. They were against Misfits. Everyone's like, fuck, man, Misfits is 6th seed. There's no way. Fnatic were like, hold my beer, and went out to lose 3-1. I was like, oh, okay, Fnatic.
Interesting. All right, that's how you want to play it.
At the same time, I think this is a much mature team from last year, right? And I don't see weaknesses at Fnatic, like clear weaknesses. They had their substitute top laner look like they've been playing for years together. It's like, I don't see a way. I did predict Fnatic was going to win 3-1. I think Vitality either win the first or second game. And then they're like, yeah. And then just Fnatic are like, yeah, no.
JK.
Yeah, I mean, if it goes even, I'll give it to Fnatic, because Broxa can steal dragons like it's nobody's business, He can steal objectives or barons or whatever, like they have some sneaky plays. There's the Fnatic Rush. There's the Expeke. They all were born within this organization. It's like somehow their players are just born into it. They're like, yes, like they have some crazy plays. I feel like it's so hard to prepare for them, and like 1 week isn't enough, and Fnatic just had to clean up their stuff, make sure that everything went well with Zoas. And then they look at what Vitality did and they're like, well, this is a very sloppy team. How are we going to exploit that, And I mean, just look at the bot lane. You don't have a rookie versus rookie. You have the MVP, which if he doesn't win MVP, I'm rioting. You have Reckless versus Mini Trupax. You don't win that lane.
No.
Realistically, you never win that lane. You have to pick something safe and mindless, and Reckless still will beat you somehow, because that's how good of a player he's been, right? Go to mid lane. You have Caps versus Jisuke, a rookie. Caps looks like he's been in the league for a few years now, like this season. You don't beat that. You have Broxa versus Gilius. It's like, I don't know. I'll take it. I'll give it to Broxa because he just, again, has those 50-50s. Then you have Zoaz versus Odoam. Fuck. I just forgot the top laner's name for Vitality. I was going to say it was Cold, but it's not.
Oh, that's Jungle.
I've got it on my other sheet. Don't worry. Cabochard.
Cabo. It is, yeah, okay. Cabo. Yeah. We've seen this before, but Zoas more often some people still consider him one of the better, if not the best top liners, right? I mean, it's kind of tough in terms of numbers. You have Wonder, you have Odoame, but Cabochard has some good moments, but it's not like he's gonna win. So I don't see realistically. I mean, even in the coaching sets, like Yamato Kana, like against Dylan Falcon, like Dylan's like a solid coach, and he's been working really well with Fnatic. So it's like, I don't know, man. I realistically don't see them taking more than one game. Again, I could be fucking wrong. Fnatic just sleep. They go on vacation. They pull a G2 and say, yeah, we don't need MSI, right? And everything goes to hell. But I don't realistically see that happening.
I can't see it happening. I mean, I can see maybe if they're playing a strong game, they can get a close win out of it. But for the rest of it, I'm going 3-0, but they have a chance to get maybe one game, and then Fnatic's going to be like, yeah, you took a game. Now I'm just going to close the door on that. You're not getting any further.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. Yeah, that's probably the clearest. This might be a clearer set than Splyce versus Rocket, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, I think you have better quality of players, but they're all still, almost all of them are all inexperienced, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just like, I mean, like what Vitality? If Vitality had Kazing, it's like, okay, maybe he knows what to do in that lane, but that's not it, right? And it's just like, you don't have a show-stopping bot lane, especially when you're against, like, playing against Reckless must be like hell.
All right.
And I just don't wish that. Like, I mean, yeah, I don't see them taking any leads. Like Reckless, I think he single-handedly would be like, no. Guys, take a load off. Unplug your keyboards. I got this,
Yeah, just 1v5, right?
Yeah, it's just 1v5.
Now, in your mind, in that set, is there any way Vitality can focus ban? In your mind, like, who would they focus ban? Because I don't think they really have much that they could really, like, because Reckless has way too many.
You the only two people you focus ban are either you somehow try to go for SOAS and make him go into a carry, but he'll find some random ass tank. So that's not an option. Brox is the only one, and Hillsing is the only one. Wow, you're banning out the jungler and the support. You can try to ban the better ADCs. Dude, Reckless is gonna pick Jhin, and you're never gonna see Jhin for the rest of playoffs in EU. Like, I remember he was one of the first European Jhins. He's gonna pull it off, dude. It's gonna fucking destroy. Like, quote me on that one. He's gonna like go like 7-0 and 7. It's like, all right, what the fuck?
Oh no, you ban out enough ADCs, and Reckless will be like, here, let me ADC Thresh in there, and I'll still beat you.
Yeah. And like, I mean, you can't even ban out Caps, right? This is a man that plays Aurelion Sol, has played Vladimir, will play Sion mid. Like, he's also got, like, I don't know, dude. It's so hard to play against them. So I don't think you can win in bans either. You shouldn't, at least.
No.
All right. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the predictions. And I think that wraps up the episode with EU. We will see how right or wrong we will be. This one will be a little spicier unless Fnatic, less spicy, because we only have the G2 Splyce thing that's probably up in the air unless Fnatic somehow, I mean, that's just whatever. That's not going to happen. So we'll see. It should be interesting. Definitely, I think.
Knock on wood, Fnatic fans. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I definitely think you'd want to watch that G2 Splyce game, because that should be really close and really exciting, and probably should be pretty bloody, I would guess. I don't think those are going to be slow, boring games. I think they'll be.
No, I think they're going to be slugfest. I think Splyce play is very aggressive. And again, G2 is like, fuck, we're winning the game. Go in. It's like, oh, we lost that fight and we just lost the game. Okay.
Oh, all right. There you go. All right. So that wraps up this episode with the EU LCS. We will see you guys next week for pretty much semifinals, recaps, and the finals. So hype. See you guys next week.
See ya.
Peace.